G'day and welcome to Talking the Talk with Paul. Not the best name for an interview show, but it's the best thing I could come up with off the top of my head. Today I will be talking with a good friend of mine, Nichelle. We haven't spoken in a while, but this was a good chance to catch up. And we'll be talking about her career since moving from Dubbo to Sydney. She pursued a course in graphic art, and since doing that has become somewhat recognised in the world of DeviantArt.com. She's appeared on book covers, her artwork has also been on calendars and a few other projects. She also recently took a trip to Africa to do some charitable work, and I will be talking to her about that. First of all, welcome Nichelle. Good to have you on, and it's good to finally catch up for a bit.
That's okay, my pleasure.
Let us begin. I wanted to talk to you today about a variety of projects you're involved in, as you are such a busy woman.
Yeah.
But I'd like to start with your DeviantArt account, or accounts, which will be displayed below for anyone wanting to check them out.
We'll start with the Charligal DeviantArt account. You started this in 2008?
Yeah, something like that. It feels like ages ago.
And it's basically a DeviantArt account which showcases your penciling and digital painting works, though it did start to show some photos and the beginning of your stock work, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
How did you find the initial startup with DeviantArt and the response from people who have viewed your work?
Well, I found DeviantArt through one of my friends that I was going to the Enmore Design Centre with back in 2008, and she was a member of the site, and she said it's fantastic for artists and anybody who likes to get their art out there, get feedback, get constructive criticism. She's like, you should check it out. So I went on there and checked it out and started uploading some of my art on there, and I've got a pretty good feedback, pretty good response from people. Most of the time people just like to leave comments, ask me questions on different techniques that I use, ask me about pretty much anything they can think of. But yeah, no, the response has been pretty good. Made some really good friends on there as well.
Now, all your digital paintings and pencil work is very well done, very talented. I can't express that enough.
Thank you.
As gifted as you are, though, you did take on some training. There was some training involved. Where did you study and how did that help you?
Hang on, where do I start? So I did HSC art when I was in high school, and then after that my teacher told me about this place called the Design Centre in Enmore and how it was really targeted at creating and producing high quality illustrators, graphic designers, all of that field of work. So obviously I was interested and I went and applied to go and study there, and that's where I learned all of pretty much everything that I know on computer. I didn't even really know how to turn a computer on until I went there. So they were kind of very key in teaching me how to use Photoshop, how to use Wacom tablet, how to digitally paint, everything. Yeah.
No, fair enough.
That and one deviant on DeviantArt, Nia Ruffino. She works in comics. Anyone who's on DeviantArt probably has heard of her before. She's also known as Tool Kitten at DeviantArt.com, and her work, she was kind of just starting out when I was on there. I mean, she worked in comics, but she was still not really a well-known name, and she always gets on the live stream and teaches her viewers some of her techniques. And we made pretty good friends, and she also taught me a lot of what I know when it comes to using Photoshop and digital colouring, all of that. So she's pretty cool.
Yes.
And now she's like mega famous.
What does she do to be famous?
She started out as a colorist for comics, so she'd get the line work or the inks or whatever, and then she'd put the colors in. She worked for Zenescope Comics, and now she's working for DC and does like a little bit of work for Marvel as well as Top Cow, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she's in such high demand in the industry. And she's also started branching out, and now she's getting work doing pencils, inks, covers, internals, everything. She's done really well for herself.
Yeah, some of my favourite pieces from your Charligal Deviant Art account are the Two Thrones, which is a Prince of Persia fan art piece for anyone that doesn't know, and Alma's Field, which again is another fan art piece for a video game called Fear. There have been 3 games so far. It features the girl Alma from those games. Not to discredit any of your other works, by the way. They're all good, but what did you feel your favourites were from that account, which focuses more on your penciling and your digital artwork, in terms of being satisfied with the end result?
My favourite is Tigress Magica. That's the one with the girl sitting in the room full of pillows with the tiger and the fire. That's my favourite.
Okay.
I learned a lot when I was doing that particular painting, and I learned like so many different skills and techniques, and I had a lot of people sort of helping me through the creative process, like, you know, giving me constructive feedback throughout. So it eventually just came out being one of my most favourite. Like, there's still a few things in there that I would possibly go and change if I knew where I put the original file.
Well, yeah, yes,
But,
yeah.
I mean, as it said, it received a daily deviation as well, and that's probably, that's probably my favourite.
I'm about to shift course slightly here. As in more recent years with your other DeviantArt accounts, Charligal Stock and Nichelle J. Nolan, again, cheap plug, you moved away from more traditional pencil drawings and the digital sort of artwork using Photoshop and graphic design programs such as that, and transitioned more into photography.
Not just photography in the sense of taking pictures of nature and such, but you become involved in stock referencing with yourself and others posing the stock being referenced in question. What made you decide to move away from penciling and digital artworks that you're clearly very good at, and why stock photos?
Well, I haven't completely moved away from all of the traditional art or the penciling and digital painting. I still do a lot of that. It's just that now a lot of that is more for clients, and a lot of it actually has a lot of copyright, intellectual property things on it, so it can't be displayed. So I find most of my time with that is spent doing those projects, so I don't get a chance to upload much of my own personal work. But in regards to the stock, when I was studying, there were so many times we had projects that required certain poses, required certain looks, certain images that you just couldn't really do correctly without having a good anatomy reference. And so instead of just trying to go and find, you know, a million different pictures and try and piece them all together, I thought, hey, well, why don't I just, you know, take a couple of photos that are in the right pose, and then that way it's going to be so much easier for me. And so I did that for a couple of my projects, and then kind of met a couple of stock artists on DeviantArt, and then decided to share some of the photos that I've been taking, because I'm like, hey, maybe these can help more people than just me. So that's how Charligal Stock started, and it kind of started taking like little landscape photos, a couple of head shots and stuff of me in different like angles to try and get that sort of reference out there. And then I finally got a really good camera. And so once I did that, that was when I started getting more into the whole photography aspect of it.
So how's the reception been with the stock accounts?
Oh, the stock account exploded with popularity. Like, it's ridiculous. I get thousands of messages every day. I can't even keep on top of it. It's hectic. So
Yes,
there's been a really good response to the stock that I provide. A lot of people say that it's really good quality. And I've had like a lot of good feedback, not only from the artists but from also other stock artists on the in the community. Received 4 or 5 daily deviations on that account. I've received some good feedback, and I mean, got some good commercial work through that as well, so it's been good.
In some of these stock photos, let's just say you leave very little to the imagination. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But
any creepy encounters?
Oh man, where do I even start? So many creepy people. I mean, the thing about those photos is they're there to help with anatomy, like anatomical references.
yes, yeah.
And it's much easier to be able to see that if you're not wearing like a dress or, you know, lots of clothing. So that's why it's kind of in less clothing. There's still clothing.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever done any like completely sans clothing, but less of the creepy encounters have to do with the majority of my body. It's the feet fetishists. They are insane. They like it's gotten to the point where now I am terrified to wear no shoes when I shoot stock, because as soon as I do, just 100 disgusting comments about, oh, your feet are so pretty, I'd love to, you know, do all these horrible, disgusting, fetishy things to them, and I was just like, I don't want to know, like, seriously, guys, come on. It got so bad that I had to put up this big journal, a huge rant about it, like, guys, come on, seriously, don't do this, I'm not interested. For one, I'm not interested in your fetish, I don't want to know what you want to do with my feet, and I have a boyfriend, so, like, go away.
Yeah, well,
so
especially since you're sort of providing a service to other artists, you don't need that sort of attention.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, as Taser Stock, or Claire Jones, she's one of my best friends on there, she puts it as like the wankography collection. We don't want to be part of the wankography collection. That's not what we're there for. We're there to provide good resources for artists as they need them to use for art, not to use for their own special needs. So, yeah, there's been quite a lot of that. But it's mainly with the feet. I mean, hardly anything else with, you know, occasionally I'll get something like, oh, nice rack, or, you know, oh, your butt's so nice. But, I mean, they are really minority. It's feet. The feet fetishists creep me out. I'm so scared of feet fetishists. If I ever meet one in real life, I'll probably whack them across the head with my phone.
Well, not with your feet, anyway.
Yeah. No, they might like that.
Yes.
Moving on. Has there been any other problems with people using your stock referencing photos? I noticed as recently as the 12th of August, you posted a journal entry on your DeviantArt account explaining why your stock is no longer free to use.
And this has been mentioned more than once in your journals over the years.
Care to explain why to anyone watching this?
It was a free service that I provided for a long time. For how long have I been on here? 4 years. So I've been on here providing stock for 4 years or so. And the thing is that I had rules for when you're going to use my stock. Make sure that you credit me, make sure that you send me a link to the work that you've done, because I'd like to see it. You know, make sure that you notify if you have commercial use, then I have a whole section on that, you know, what you can and can't do. If you want to commission me, if you post on another site, always make sure that the credits are clear, make sure that you link back. And this is a big one. This is the one that I always have so much trouble with. No retouches or insufficiently edited work. And it just seems that people like to take the raw stock image, do nothing to it, or put a filter over it, or put like, I don't even know, like a couple of different little colour changes or something, and then call it art, like call it theirs.
Yes,
and it's not. Anyone can do that, and it takes literally less than 10 seconds. I know, because I know what they've done. Like, I can see it. I do it all the time with like other photography projects that I do, but it's just frustrating because that's a big one. Like, you know, if you're going to use my stock, do something with it. Use it as reference. Like, make it something more than what it is. Otherwise, it's still my image. And so many people would just disregard that, not put credits, you know, not edit the work enough, not actually use it as it was meant to be used, not link me to the things, call it photography. And I have a specific rule that says you can't call my stock your photography, because it's not. If you're using it in that way, then it's either a photo manipulation or you're misusing my stock. And so people just breaking the rules all the time. I had people stealing my images and reposting them on other stock websites for profit. Just all of these different things that it was so frustrating. And then when I pull people up on it, they yell at me or get really angry and then try to start this massive fight. I'm like, this is so stressful, and it shouldn't be, because this is supposed to be a hobby. This is supposed to be something fun that I do, and now it's like this massive, massive chore. And every time that I put something up, there's some stupid drama, somebody's being ungrateful, somebody's being rude, somebody's being mean. People are always misusing it. I'm sick of it, so I took it all down.
Yes, fair enough. Like I said, with good reason, you're providing the service, so people have to respect the rules.
And the thing was, it was a free service. I was providing a free service. All of the costumes, all of the makeup, everything that was involved in that was off my own back. I paid for it myself. I wasn't asking for anything in return. All I wanted was for people to follow this, reasonably simple set of rules, and they couldn't even do that. I'm like, screw you guys.
Yeah, pretty much. A bit of respect goes a long way.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, well, that's I agree, that's fair. Especially, we'll talk about an incident here that happened with you in 2011 with Ticketek, a big company,
It wasn't even
in which
stock,
they used yours
yeah.
and another DA artist, Trash Glam's collaborative piece Tea Party without your permission. It was for a fundraiser for the Christchurch earthquake that happened in that year.
I say this is nothing against the victims of such a tragedy,
No.
but we are talking about art being stolen, and it must have been frustrating as an artist who is getting recognised to have a company unprofessionally use your artwork without permission, without seeking who owned the piece, or any payment, or without speaking to you beforehand.
How did you first find out about your artwork appearing on that website, and what happened in dealing with Ticketek and the outcome?
I can't even remember how I found out about that. I have a feeling it might have been somebody else said, oh no, hang on, it was Hexie from Trash Glam. She found it, and she, obviously because it was her clothing line, it was her image that was to be used in promotional material for her own business. She found it because she's always on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And so she sent me an email. I'm like, this is pretty crap. Okay, I'll get in contact with them. And, the only thing that we wanted was to be at least asked whether it was okay to use our image. And, she may have wanted a fee for it, but I was pretty happy to kind of let that go. It's like, if you ask me and say, yeah, I'll provide a credit, say this person was the artist, this is the person whose clothing line it is, or whatever, just that little bit of credit there, then I would have been more than happy to say, yeah, you can use it, that's fine. But the fact of the matter was, these people didn't even ask, and they were like a huge company. And so in companies like that, you have all of these rules and copyright things set up so that you don't get in trouble. Because something like this, we could have sued them, they could have then, had all these legal issues, and they have rules in place to make sure that things like this don't happen. So obviously whoever was working there just decided to completely disregard whatever their rules and policies were on it and just nick the image anyway. And so anyway, Hexie had this massive fight with them and kind of, got them to remove it and got them to reimburse us. Then, yes. That was all good, and they ended up using a different image in the end or something. I'm not sure, something like that.
Well, that clears it up anyway, but yes, I think from memory, reading that journal, they Googled the image, that's how they found it. But again, being a big company, they should have at least looked into who owned that property.
I can guarantee, a lot of the clients that I work for, with graphic design and artwork and all of that, they have policies in place to ensure that nothing like that happens. And when we as the graphic artists source images to use within their promotional material, we have to make sure that it follows a really stringent set of rules to make sure that we're not breaching anyone's copyright or intellectual property. So whoever did that just completely disregarded whatever their policies were.
Yeah.
and that's just bad practice.
Well, hopefully they got fired for it.
Hopefully. It'd be nice to think that they did. I mean, that's a bit rude on their behalf, but yeah.
Don't steal art. It's not yours. Don't steal it. It can't be any simpler than that, basically. Alright, moving on. You've started to have some success with moving to the stock referencing, as a few of your artworks, I can't remember how many exactly, have been featured as daily deviants on deviantart.com, which is basically like a daily spotlight, for anyone that doesn't know. Used for book covers such as the Airborne Saga of Books by Constant Sharper. From that artwork getting noticed, what do you hope to accomplish with your work? Is there anywhere you would like to see it take you, or anything else you would like your artwork to appear in?
I've got a couple of other ones. There's a French one. Oh man, what's it called? Something about the black rose. And that's a book cover that I'm on, and I have that here somewhere, and it's really awesome. It's all in French, so I'm like trying to translate it as I read it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And then this is the other one I was trying to think of, Rain.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Yeah, I'm sort of like a little way through reading it. I started reading it before I went to Africa, but I forgot to bring it with me. So, and then the calendar that I have at the moment, this one here, that's one of my stock images on the front as well.
Oh, okay.
And I'm May. I'm pretty sure it's May. June. Yeah, May. Yeah, that's me.
Huh.
That's one of those one of the Possessed series.
You've done a bit more than my research found out.
Oh man, I've got more as well around. I just don't know where it is. I've got like tons and tons of stuff. I just don't post all about it because it's mainly the first ones that I get really excited about, and then people just send me through lots of stuff. I've got heaps of prints, heaps of like signed things, magazines. There's like a whole bunch of bookmarks and little like calendar, like tiny calendar things as well that people have sent me. I get quite a lot of commercial work, and I have a policy where they don't have to give me cash if they instead send me out some of the products.
Yeah.
Because I like to have the products instead.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'd probably go for that option myself. So.
Yeah. So that's really what I do.
With that though, is there anywhere else you'd like to see your work? And like, when you set out to do your DeviantArt and the stock photos and that, what did you hope to accomplish with your work? Like, see where it take you?
To begin with, what I hoped to accomplish was that I could just help out a couple of other artists apart from myself, and that I'd have some poses that would help them accomplish or finish off an artwork they were trying to do, or photo manipulators be able to create a work that they had envisioned by using my stock. And because it got so much bigger than that and ended up kind of, becoming the monster that it is, it is a big monster. Now people are doing so much with my stock that I never thought people would ever do. It's really insane. So yeah, I don't even know. They've already blown my expectations so much that whatever they keep on doing is always going to be exciting for me. I mean, there's been a couple of CD covers, so maybe it'd be really awesome if one day someone like Nightwish or something used one of my works for like an album cover. That'd be really awesome. Or Evanescence, but I mean,
As an artist, who and what are your inspirations? Name some of the artists that you follow, that you are inspired by, and some of their works.
Definitely Nia Ruffino, so aka Tool Kitten on DeviantArt. She is phenomenal, amazing. I love that girl. She helped me so much in achieving like knowledge that I've learned to be able to become the artist that I am today. So I love her. She's like one of my favorites. Let me see, who else? Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell. They're like pretty obvious.
Very famous fantasy artists.
Yeah, I love their work. They're fantastic. Just that style has always been something that I like. Kind of a realistic style, but with a fantasy element. Love that sort of thing. For photographers, people like V Motion on DeviantArt and Annie Bertram, they both do fantastic work, and I really like what they do. And then when it comes to stock, Taser stock, Elandria, Pirate Lotus stock, Kira Lee, like these guys just constantly inspire me to go out and create better stock and make better stuff for people to use. They're so fantastic. And Jess Paystock, she is seriously amazing. Her work is just constantly mind blowing. So yeah, there'd be some of my inspirations.
Just a few.
Yeah, just I have so many. It's like try and pick and choose so that the list doesn't go on for half an hour or so.
That's fine.
Sorry to do this to you. Very difficult question to answer, and I believe it would be for any artist. How do you know when a piece of artwork that you've been working on is finished? Like, completely finished?
That's hard. I don't know whether they're ever really finished. The thing is just knowing when to step away and go, I should probably just let it be. Because, I mean, there are always so many, like, you get to the end of a piece and you go, oh yeah, it's finished, you put it up, and then you look at it and you can see things that, oh, maybe I should just take it off and tweak that. Maybe I could just fix this a little bit. Maybe I should change the lighting a bit there. Oh, maybe I should add this in over here. It's like you can just keep on making more of one piece. So it is actually really hard to know when a piece is finished, but sometimes you just got to look at it, say, has it accomplished what the brief is? Have I gotten the point across that I wanted to get across? And I mean, if you can answer those both with a yes, then it's probably safe to just let it be.
Sorry, that was a difficult question, but yes.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, otherwise, I get bored of them, and so I'll kind of half finish one and then leave it, and then go and start another one, half finish that, and then just leave it. So.
Yeah, and then come back to it when you sort of in that mood for it, yeah.
Or never come back to it.
Yeah, that happens a lot, yes.
Happens too.
Again, sorry, that was it was a difficult question to answer. Shifting gears here for a bit, just for a bit of fun, just a bit of a personality sort of thing for people, that might think this is a bit too serious. I don't like going too serious too often. I wanted to talk before, and especially before we talk about your recent trip to Africa. What are your favourite movies?
Oh, okay. Lord of the Rings, all of those ones. Let me see, what else? I love Paranormal Activity, especially the first one. What else? Tron, the new one. I love that. I just want to take those glowing costumes and prance around and possibly take photos in them.
Your favourite song or songs at the moment?
Favourite song at the moment, it would have to be either something by Lindsay Sterling, or somebody that I used to know, but not by Gautier, the version that Pentatonics do.
Okay, I've never heard of them, but
awesome.
If you could witness any event, famous, historic, past or present, what would it be?
I don't know. I don't actually know. Maybe. I think I'd like to go back to medieval times. Just like, I know it would have been really dirty and full of disease and stuff, but the dresses were so pretty.
yes, if you survived that long, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's anything like Game of Thrones.
Who's the most famous person you would like to meet?
I would really like to meet Sir Ian McKellen, because he's so epic. Every role he's in. Sorry?
Good choice.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love him. And probably Amy Lee from Evanescence, because I really like her.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no real reason.
Hypothetically, you've been working in a science lab for days on end, hardly any sleep, and you find a way to breed two animals together to defy the laws of nature, what animal would you create?
Oh, I'd probably create a squirrelantula. Which is part squirrel, part tarantula. And it would be terrifyingly cute because all of the scary part would be squirrel, so it wouldn't be that scary anymore, but it would have tarantula legs so it could get around really fast.
I'm actually surprised you come up with something that quick, so you've obviously put a lot of thought into that one.
I've thought about this before.
Moving on. What do you miss most about being a kid?
Not paying rent. No, really real. Just being able to go around and play dress-ups and not get looked at like you're a weirdo. Because now when I play dress-ups, people look at me like I'm strange. I'm like, no guys, it's the stock. It's the stock. I swear I'm not. I don't do this every day. Much.
Yeah, I suppose, it is sort of one of those things where you do get frowned upon, I guess. Now,
it's good though, because here in Newtown, people are a bit more open to kind of that sort of quirky, strange behaviour.
Yeah.
So you can go out and you can go out in your pyjamas up to the shops, and people will just like not even take notice. It's a bit different though when you got full makeup on, like bright green across your face, and wearing a wedding dress with a camera and a tripod in hand, just walking down the road to the park. Then you get some strange looks. I've done that before.
Though around that area there's probably a lot more stranger things, let's be honest.
Yeah, well, I hope I'm not the strangest.
If you weren't doing what you're currently doing in life, what would you be doing, or what would you like to be doing?
I really want to work in video games, which is why I'm now taking the initiative to go and do the bachelor degree of games design at Quantum University College University. I can't remember what they call themselves.
That's a Sydney-based one, is it?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's all around Australia, but
okay.
I'm going to the Sydney-based one, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I want to do that, and I want to work in video games because I've wanted to work in video games for so long now, and somehow I got sidetracked and became a graphic designer, and now it's like, no, go back to what you really wanted to do. And if not that, I want to be a singer. Yeah, just randomly.
Fair enough. Though doing the graphic design and that, it's sort of beneficial to leading into doing your video games.
It is really beneficial, especially because the area that I'm interested in is video game design, as opposed to programming or the animation.
Yeah. And
because of the design work that I've done, they actually look on that really, really well. So it gives me a bit of a better chance to get in, and the experience that I've had working in the industry for 5 years kind of makes it much easier on my behalf when I'm actually studying the course as well. So, yeah, should be good.
Now, you recently returned to Australia's shores from a trip to Africa. First of all, how did that trip come about, and what was the trip for?
Well, I was going to the youth meetings and stuff with my sister and brother and my mum at church, and they're pretty much the pastor of the church said, hey, I'm organising this trip to South Africa for Impact South Africa World Youth Congress, and then we're going to go and do a mission trip in Botswana after that and stop off in Singapore on the way back. So, anyone who's interested, put your hands up. And so, of course, I heard that, like, Africa? Are you serious? And there's going to be a group of people going? You'd never get this chance, like, ever again. So I just pulled my hand out, like, please, let me come. I want to be a part of this. And so it was for, like, the first part of the trip was the World Youth Congress. It's where people from all around the world, different parts of the world, came together. We all got to meet each other, network with each other, just spend so much time together. And then after that, we did the mission trip up to Botswana, and we did work with the kids and got to spend a lot of time with them, help out, donate clothes and help out with food and a lot of other different things. You can find a pretty detailed description of that leg of the trip on my stock account journal it probably says it better because I was still in the mode of remembering everything. And then after that, we went up to Zimbabwe and visited Victoria Falls, which is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And it was so fantastic. Like, seriously, it was just kilometers worth of waterfalls, and you could feel it thundering underneath your feet, and it was just amazing. You'd walk past it and just get completely drenched by the spray. It was amazing.
You've travelled to England as well, I believe?
Yes, last year.
Yes. How was that trip different from this one in terms of why you went?
2 different things. I mean, I travelled to England to meet up with Taser Stock from Deviant Art, and I stayed with her for a week. We went just in England. We went around, we did a lot of things. It was much more of a casual sort of visit compared to Africa being going over there with a purpose, going over there to serve, going over there to do community service, like help out with the orphanage, help out with the kids, help, sort of, helping with the infrastructure, helping build things, like all of that sort of thing. So it was much more of Africa was a service project, and England was a casual, more holiday sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely different, but both really good in their own right.
Got any quick stories to share about your time in Africa?
Oh, there's so many. It's hard to pick, but when I was at the World Youth Congress, I met this girl over there. She's like African, beautiful, lovely person, and we sort of became best friends sort of overnight. I really miss her.
Okay, thanks, Nichelle. This has been fun and educational, as I've found out a few things I didn't know about you myself over the years. And in all honesty, it's just been good to catch up with you again. It has been a while. I'd like to maybe do a part 2 eventually if you're up for it, if we have the time. To finish off though, what do you want people who view this or view your DeviantArt sites and accounts to learn from you. If you could leave a message or say anything to anyone watching, what would it be?
Alright, okay, so for people who use my stock and who use stock in general, be appreciative of the fact that people put it out there for you for free and that it's an available resource, and just be respectful when you use it. Make sure that you follow the rules that the people put in place, and, you know, of course, have fun with it. For people who want to provide stock, do it. It's a lot of fun. You don't really need that much, like just even a point and shoot camera and you can get some pretty good images, but you know, it's all about the enthusiasm. Experiment with poses, experiment with costumes, just do as much as you can and try different things out. Don't be afraid of expression. For people who want to draw and everything, practice makes perfect. I have been drawing pretty much every day of my life since I was a kid, and just keep on practicing. Always look for new things to learn. Never stop learning. As soon as you stop learning, that's when you can pretty much forget about it. So just always keep looking to learn more. Never feel like you can't do it. Practice does make perfect. If you keep at it, you'll eventually get it. And for anyone who wants to go to Africa, do it. It's amazing. It's such an amazing country. The people are fantastic. You'll drive along the road in a bus and there'll be a giraffe out your window. It's seriously cool. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Again, thanks, Nichelle. I'll look forward to doing a part 2 to this eventually.
Yeah,
Well,
it's been good to sort of catch up.
yeah, absolutely. It's been fun. Alright, well, I'll say goodbye then.
Yep. Thanks again.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, Nichelle. It's really been good to catch up with you. We should do this more often. I'd like to do a part 2. Obviously, your career is not slowing down and you're getting more recognised. It's only a matter of time before you're doing a lot bigger things with the talents you have. So it'd be good to catch up with you. Hopefully I get first interview preference. We'll see. So that's all the time we have for today. Even though this is going on YouTube, it could go for as long as I want it to, but that's all the time we have for today. If you want to follow the very talented and beautiful Nichelle and her artwork on the DeviantArt sites, I will list them again here. Sorry about the leather jacket making that noise. And if you would also want to follow me, which I don't see why anybody would, as I'm pretty boring, but you can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, have a look at my newly created WordPress account, which I will be blogging about the upcoming EB Games Expo, in 2013 in October, where I'll get some hands-on time with the Xbox One and the PS4. And all the upcoming games that I'm looking forward to playing, especially Watch Dogs. But again, that's all the time we have for now. So, to quote one of my favourite newsreaders, you stay classy.